Okay. Hi everyone. Good evening. Good morning. Myself, Vetter Shelvan. I am a managing partner in Cloud Belive Private Limited, a pure play, a Salesforce consulting firm. I have almost 13 years experience in IT, out of which 12 years is almost in Salesforce and a bit of .NET and Android. Some of you, might know me already, but yeah. So that's a quick intro about myself. So now let's talk about let's talk about the topic for the session today, actually, right? So Salesforce Org Check, diagnose, optimize, and succeed, actually. Okay. Before we get into the session today, so I'll just give a quick intro about Cloud Belive. As I said, Cloud Belive is a Salesforce consulting firm. We are around two and a half years startup based out of Vellore, Tamil Nadu, and we have work with different vendors and customers and completed like 30 plus projects in the span of time. We are a team of 20 members with cumulative experience of 50 years and 45 plus certifications so far. And we predominantly work on sales service, field service, CPQ, Revenue Cloud, Pardot, and a bit of MuleSoft and Experience Cloud. And the industries we work is basically telecom, travel and hospitality, customer services, professional services, etc. So that's a quick intro about Cloud Belay. And yeah, so let's get started for the session today, actually, right? So Salesforce org check, actually. Okay, so is your Salesforce org working for you or against you, actually, right? So I have came across Salesforce org, which was used for years and years, actually. Okay, which will have too many messy things where they have utilize the license, but the users might not be active. The data storage might have hit the limit, and too many workflows and process builders on the same objects, and unused validation rules. And if you get into the coding part, a lot of apex which was not written in with the best practices and all, actually, right? So this will make the system more cluttered, inefficient, and even a riskier sometime, actually, right? For if any huge rollout is happening, and if you are it with such issues, this can be a little overwhelming, actually, right? And so what I always suggest for our client, basically who starts with us, is you provide a free org health checkup, actually. Basically customers who are using Salesforce already, right? That is what we feel as a perfect starting point to get to know about their system, and before even start getting started with a discovery or whatever requirement the client have, actually, right? This is something which is useful so that we can ensure that we know in and out of the org the challenges we have, and we will be able to provide proper estimates and stuff. If you are a in-house admin, of course, I recommend to do this activity twice a year, halfly, to keep things running smoothly, and provide better performance, and you get maximum ROI out of it, actually, right? As I mentioned, why do you need a Salesforce or Oracle check, actually, right? So improve performance and speed, as I said, eliminate all the clutters and reduce the load time. If you have a Lightning page which is heavily loaded with Lightning components and stuff, this cannot be useful, actually, right? Reduce the risk and errors, catch any misconfigurations, be it on configuration or even on coding level, actually, right? Boost the user adoption, actually, right? By doing your auth health checkup, you'll get to know about the issues which the users are facing, and you'll be able to make changes accordingly so that they are much satisfied. The main thing here is control cost, actually, right? So even if you're having an in-house admin or you're outsourced your a Salesforce to an consulting partner, having all these challenges, it's going to increase the cost, right? And also the licenses which you're using, the storages, you could avoid a lot of unnecessary expenses actually, right? So prepare your org for growth, stay compliant with all the best practices and regulations. That is why, you have to do this, Salesforce Org Health Check actually. Okay, right. So you see, this is a report which we have prepared for one of the consumer service customer. Basically they are into all this security crime, fire alarm, doorbells, and stuff they have done, and they are into that business, and they have used service cloud and field service as their main product, okay, and a bit of sales cloud also actually, okay. So the tools we use for the assessment is basically Salesforce Optimizer, which is free and it is out of the box. It provides some very good suggestions and stuff what you need to do, how you can enhance your performance in your Salesforce org. But unfortunately, that one is retiring in winter 26 release. But you have an alternative there. That's the org check app exchange app. We will definitely look into a demo about that. And the Salesforce Health Checkup. This is basically a security focused tool, which gives you which separates like high risk security, low, and intermediate ones, and what is the standard thing values which you should have, and what is the challenge we are facing. It shows a comprehensive idea about it actually. Okay. And Apex PMD tool, this is basically a tool, it's mainly used for Java, but yeah, I think you can use it in your Visual Studio Code with this. You could analyze your Apex code quality issues, security flaws, and everything. This can be done for both your Apex triggers and classes. Okay, there are other tools also like I think code scan is there, check marks is there. There are a few other tools which is there, but these are things which we used to, we stick to it actually. Okay, and basically the manual assessments, we run through the org and understand the configuration, the data qualities, and a few other things which can be enhanced part of the health check actually. Okay. The next one is, you'll start with the Salesforce or health checkup, okay, for a consumer service company which we have prepared, okay. And the first thing, results we are going to see is from the Salesforce Optimizer, okay. So the first one is the org limits actually, okay. So the major issue which is highlighted here is the file storage actually, okay. So these customers, they have consumed 91% of their storage, okay. So total 82.81 gigabytes. They have a total of around 91 gigs, but they almost consumed everything. So they are approaching the errors. This is something very, very important, which needs to be identified immediately. That if you see the recommendation, it is mentioned, an immediate action has been required, actually, right? And you have to you have to identify and delete the old unused files, have a archival strategy in place, okay. Consider exporting all these files in any of the file storage system, and even if you are okay to increase your file storage, of course reach out to your Salesforce CE and get it done, but of course it's expensive again, right? So and the second is the data storage limit. So it's just used less than 70%. They are very well good in here. And if you see, out of 11 GB, the entire arc, only 1.7 gigabytes has been used, and no action has been recorded in here actually. Okay? And the static resource limits, if you see, it's around 70% utilized out of 250 MB, only 75 MB has been used, and no action required here also actually. Okay. And the next one is improve org security. Security. These are very important things when it comes to your Salesforce org actually, right? For example, if you see the first issue which is mentioned in here is 46 objects. The sharing settings actually, right? 46 objects in the org. The external access level has been set as public read and write, right? This is including your self-registering users actually. So, self-service users. You shouldn't do that actually. Okay, exposing your data for external users in a public read and write mode is definitely not recommended one. Okay, the recommendation here is keep it more restrictive, like it can be a private or public read only, where you create sharing rules or manual sharing, and provide access to the data accordingly. Actually, okay? And this is very very important thing which needs to be added away actually. And the second thing is pending release updates. Actually, there are six critical release updates that has been pending, which is going to impact the behavior and the security. Security again is important task actually, right? You have to go to the list of tasks in the the release updates. Probably everyone knows actually, right? The release updates. Salesforce has three releases a year actually. So winter, summer, and spring release actually. Right? Every time they might be coming up with some important updates. As a Salesforce admin, you have to go and do those release updates regularly, which is really important. Okay, always ensure that you test all these things in your sandbox first before proceeding to the production. Actually, okay. And the next one is the object level limits actually. So you see, these are okay. On a two objects they have more validation rule. On a case object there are like 72 of them, and account it is 27 actually. Okay. So the action required here is it's just an action required. It's not immediate and also it's not going to cause any chaos. Review all those one, understand if anything is required, if some of them are outdated, try to remove that, make all those changes in your sandboxes. And if you still see that all these are required, of course go for your raising the limits by speaking with Salesforce actually. Yes, you see, it's a green tick. Custom field limits, everything is within limits. The maximum field they have in an object is 107 only. And active workflows or sharing rule limits, nothing, everything is clean and no action is required in your action. Okay. Next one is the field limits actually. Okay. If you see the field, fields where only seven fields are completed less than 10% of the time in the last 3 months actually. Okay. So basically, out of all the fields they have in the org, only seven of them has been completed less than 10%. Rest of them are still it's there, but it's not properly used, right? And this is not going to create a lot huge impact. It's just a review required. If they are not using the fields, if probably the customers moved on from those fields, ensure that you delete those them. You document it, because this is going to count against you, so your limits. At the same time, maintaining this is going to get it's going to get you have to spend more time and all doing it actually. So it's always you do it regularly whenever you feel in your orchard, rather than making it taking it to a big level, and then you have to spend a lot of time actually, right? So that's one thing. And the issue second you see here is 10-page layouts contain higher number of fields actually. Okay? So there are like so many fields on the page layouts. It's going to difficult to maintain. At the same time, the page load time is going to increase. Okay, so delete the custom field which is not required. Update the layouts and with the fields only used by the users frequently actually. Okay, so workflows. Seven workflow rules are there which can be migrated to the flows. As you all know, Salesforce has retired the workflows and process builders, which means you can still use it, but they don't provide any support anymore, actually, right? So the recommendation here is use the migrate to flow tool for conversion. Try test it thoroughly in the sandbox and then proceed further. Actually, okay. And the second one is there are 15 inactive workflow rules actually. If you're not using it, then there is no point in having it actually, right? Do a cleanup. Ensure that all these things which is not needed. Clean it up. It's gonna be easy for you to maintain the org. The same goes for the third one, the 23 inactive validation rule also actually. Okay, so keep the org as clean as possible so that it will reduce your overhead cost and also the maintenance cost actually. Okay. And the next one is custom codings actually, right? So there are like a couple of places where basically those are custom buttons and links where the URLs has been hard coded actually. So this is something it's not a standard best practice at all to use a hard coded URL, just in case if we are enabling the my domain, or if the URLs are changing, uh, you know, then all these things breaks. Actually, it won't work as expected. Actually, right? Ensure that you put it in a static resource, and or in a custom label maybe, and use that in your wherever you need a URL. Actually, okay. The second one is there are 41,000 attachments in use actually. Okay, attachments has been deprecated in Lightning, as we all know actually. Okay, and almost pretty much everyone is into Lightning now. It's very rare you see people using Salesforce in Classic. So the idea is to move to files, migrate the contents from attachments, notes and attachments to file, and put all the related lists wherever attachment is required, replace them with the files actually. Okay. The third one is very important. 70 code elements uses outdated API version. Your upper classes and triggers and LWCs and stuff, it should use the latest API version, because that is where you get access to different new generic methods released, or a lot of updates which is done by Salesforce. You will be able to get those, use those. You have the latest class. The current running class, I believe it is 64 or 65, I don't remember, on top of it. Ensure that you use the latest API. Of course, you are going to it. Ensure you make the changes and test, review everything post upgrade. This is something asked to ensure to do it actually. So the same thing, notes and attachments, replace the files in that. And if you see there are certain things which doesn't need any action required, there is something called debug, which is disabled. It is not always recommended to use it. And multiple apex triggers on a per object, that is also clean. In this org, we don't have, there is only one, triggers on a per object. That's a good thing. Formula fields with the JavaScript code, that is also not there. And S controls, probably not everyone knows about it. This is something which is used before Visual Force. This is a UI element. But they don't even use S controls, which is pretty much duplicated actually, right? And if you see user management, there are 15 permission set with low number of users. There are like just, and don't these, if we are not using the permission set, right, then there is no point in having it actually, right? Ensure that you could have merged them and assign it to the users. This is going to reduce the time actually, right? For example, a requirement comes in where you have to go and update multiple permission set, rather than if you merged based on the requirements, and have less number of permission set, it will be easy for us to manage actually. Okay. And the same goes unassigned permission sets. Okay. If it is not used, go ahead and delete it actually. Um, Reduce the time on these things actually. So custom layouts, some of the objects has a higher number of record types, leading to maintenance overhead. A case is having 12 record types. It's always not recommended to have more record types. Remove or consolidate the ones which is not needed. Okay. And the same 5-page layouts are not assigned to a record type actually. Okay. So you are having a page layouts created, but it's not been assigned to any record type. Then why do I need to have a page layout then actually, right? And if you see, there are like certain things which doesn't have any action required. Unassigned record type, pretty much everything has been related to everyone. Page layouts per objects, the numbers are okay. And lightning components on the record lightning page, it is very minimal. There is no effect on these things actually. Okay. Right. The next thing, the what we saw is basically it's been taken from the Salesforce optimizable sets actually, right? To sort out those things, there are certain things which requires immediate action. Some of them are okay, action required. Some of them just review required, right? Probably you can summarize and list out or provide timelines to your customer, saying these are the things which needs to be done immediately, and provide a timeline to get it sorted actually, right? The next one is Salesforce Org Health Checkup actually. Okay, so this one is again a tool in Salesforce itself. Okay, but this is driven more based on the security side. This particular client, they add a baseline standard of 50%, which is very, very poor. And some of them critical thing which I have highlighted here actually. If you see the high risk security settings, they have expired certificate actually. Okay, so ideally we shouldn't have any expired certificate and key managements. These are basically used for your authentication and stuff, right? But it is we have one which needs to be addressed immediately. It's a critical one, and you see there are more few other session settings. The value, the standard value should be the last column, right? It should be, these are the things which should be enabled, but the actual value they have has been disabled and all actually. Okay, so session ratings, probably the persons we used the visual force page, probably you get to know these are the cross scripting issues which we used to have. For that purpose, you will disable that, but it's generally suggested to enable it. Okay, and and on the last you see the maximum invalid login attempts actually. Okay, so for invalid login attempts, they have the value given as 10 actually. In general, it will be only 3, but they have a password policy which has been set for 10 times the user can log in with the wrong password. It won't get locked out actually. Okay, so this is something a very critical one which has to be addressed. And medium risk security, and you see require minimum 1 day password lifetime, so that has been disabled. And user passwords expires and never expires actually. So it expires in 30 days as standard value. Ensure that your users update their password regularly. These are security things actually, right? And enforce password history actually. No password has been remembered, but ideal values recommended is 3 password at least should be enabled actually, right? And the IP ranges has been disabled. So an administrator can log in as any user. This is okay, but yeah, still the recommended value here is disabled actually, right? These are the critical things actually. So there are a few other settings also which is available as part of these things, but those are okay. Some of them are very like slight warnings, and some of them are complaint actually. So we are good with that actually. Okay. The next one is low risk security settings here. And you see secret password resets, it's been disabled. Forced logout on session timeout, it has been disabled, but the ideal value which has been requested is enabled. And required identity verification for email address changes actually, it has been disabled, but ideally it should be enabled, right? When you receive an try to reset a password, email address changes, you need a verification email actually. And lockout effective period is just 15 minutes, but the standard value requested is 30 minutes. Session timeout is 12 hours, it's been given, but ideally Salesforce recommended it should be 15 minutes. And the same, some, related to remote settings actually. Yeah. It is complaint, you see, they just added it for a simple. You see the status here, critical warning complaint. So critical is something which has to be addressed right away. Warning is okay, but still it's an threat. Complaint is everything is good actually. Okay. Okay, so the next one we are going to look into is the Apex PMD result actually. Okay, so the PMD result, it is basically it goes through all the Apex code and let us know what are the things which is not followed with the best practices actually. So key observation, so this line they are like Apex class of 116 and trigger 828 triggers, and you know probably some of them can be from a managed package classes also, but these things, you see the key observation we observed here is security. Missing sharing keyword in multiple Apex classes. No CRUD FLS checks before performing a DML or SOQL actually. Okay. As a developer, we tend to do, don't follow these things, but these are very important when it comes to security. Ensure the Apex classes has been using the sharing keyword to enforce the, sharing rules, sharing settings, and the CRUD check. If you're trying to, query a field, ensure that if you are having particular access to that field when you are doing a DML, ensure that if you are checking the CRUD access is there or not actually. Okay, and design wise, some of the classes are having high climatic complexity, making them automated, which means there is a method which has like 100 lines of code actually, right? That is not recommended to do actually. You have to break down your logics and call sub methods to uh, so that you maintain it in a much better way, actually, right? So that is what the design thing is. The best practice, there are so many unused local variables leading to unnecessary load cutters, actually, right? So these are the things which needs to be addressed. And error prone, there are so many empty catch blocks without logging what exactly the exception is, actually. Okay, there is no point in just catching, trying to catch the error, but you have to log it somewhere, so that you can go and debug those things if you are running into some issues, actually, right? So these are the key observations we noted down. So we will break down in some of the issues here, actually. Okay. See, these are the violations which we have, got. Uh, there are like Apex CRUD violation, 169, warnings and errors we have received across different classes here, and you see, basically these falls into best practices, design issues, security, and performance, actually. Okay, and some of the common errors which we saw in this is a long parameter list. A method contains so many parameters to it, actually. There are debug statements in basically the more you add a debug statements, the load time is going to be more, and it is going to affect your performance, actually, right? And a valid CRUD permission before SOQ or DML, and Apex unit test is having is test data. So, see, all data is true, or coding IDs. Apex method should have is test on a system. Use system.assets or asset not equal. These are some of the errors, common errors, which we got from the Apex CRUD violation, actually. And Apex sharing violation, probably, it's basically the CRUD permission thing, and it affects mainly the security and performance only. And SOL injection, there are like three of the error which are security issues. And Apex test method should have this test annotation. There are like 131 tests which doesn't have it, actually. This is a best practice to recommend. We all know is test annotation is important, and and avoid Boolean method parameters. So this has some performance issue. Basically, a Boolean has been passed as a parameter here, and avoid debug statement. There are like 113 errors which we got, and it affects the performance purely. Avoid deeply nested if statements. So there might be so many nested ifs which is going to cause issue. Ideally, we have such 8 scenarios errors which we got a performance issue. Ideally, go for a switch statements for much better thing. And as I said, cyclomatic complexity, actually, 20 of them, actually. There are 20 such methods which has heavy code in that, which is not recommended, actually. Okay. And excessive parameter list. There are like 8 of them, and these are error prone again. This might cause any issues also, actually. Okay. An unused local variable in 30 places you have such variable declared, which are obviously is going to affect your performance. It's going to consume memory, and it's going to take your performance as an issue. Avoid logic integrate. So they have they didn't have they did follow best practice of having one trigger on per object, but they have written logics in trigger, which is not recommended. Always move your trigger logics to a X class, actually, right? Okay, so the recommendations here are basically meshing with sharing keyword. Declare your classes with sharing or without sharing. The CRUD FSL check. This is ensure that if you can access the field with its accessible method, or is creatable, use those condition. Cyclomatic complexity, ensure that you put all this code into smaller helper methods to improve the readability and testability. Unused variables, remove those variables. Some of the variables are declared as global, even if it's not necessary, actually. Remove those things, actually, right? These are the recommendation. So making these changes will reduce 3/4 of the issue we add in the Apex code, actually. Okay. Okay, some of the manual assessment, actually. Okay. When it comes to manual assessment, a lot of things. It's basically checking the user logins and stuff, and data quality, maybe, right? And if you see, user activity summary, there are like 43 users there, and they have almost 123 users inactive, and there are like 5 users who never logged in for some long time. And there are certain users, 6 of them, they are active users, but they are not transitioned to lightning experience yet. They are using classic still, actually. Okay. We don't know when Salesforce is gonna, not support Classic with all this agent first things, as we know. But this is something, a manual thing. And if you see the recommendation here, basically, allow the users, train them, encourage them to adopt to Lightning, and review all those unused size licenses which might be assigned to the users who are now logged in for a long time. This is basically, you can, by this activity, you'll be able to efficiently handle your license allocation, at the same time reduce the cost actually. Okay? Audit the system and integration users, ensure your system integration users are configured with the necessary settings and stuff, and so that you don't provide any unnecessary license assigned to them actually. Okay. So there are certain other things which we could do, but yeah, it's not documented. But let's get into the data quality checks results here. So it's a good thing. This has been done using an app exchange app field audit actually. Okay, so this year we did for few objects account, contact, and cases for this customer, which they mainly use. And if you see the reports here, it says they have a total of 10,000 Salesforce, and out of them, only all the details are captured only on 27 accounts. And if you see, some of them doesn't have, only one of them has complete address detail. Most of them doesn't have industry populated actually. Most of them doesn't have phone address populated actually, right? And it's, on the right hand side, based on this metrics, the data quality score has been derived actually. 20, 40, 60, 80, and only 100 is given only for 27 record, which means only 27 record as quality data in it actually. Okay, 80% it's around like 7K records there actually. 60% there is like 27, like 2.7. Basically, gives the customer a clarity what kind of data they are missing actually. And as you see, with a lot of agent stuff and coming, moving agentic AI, data going to play a wide role in here actually, right? Having clean, clear data is very, very necessary to perform, provide your service better, or even thinking avoid, when you are introducing agents into your business actually, right? These are very, very important thing actually. Go to contact. You see, only 245 contacts has all the data. 59 of them, missing complete address detail and job detail, email detail, actually, right? Out of 28,265 contacts which they have, only 245 have as 100% quality of data. 80% quality is around 16K records, actually, right? This, and lead quality, the same thing. Out of 5K record, you see, most of them, like only one has 100% data qualified. 535 has 90% of them. And if you say 65% there, 40, I mean like 4.5K records has a data quality score of 65% actually. Okay. This you can run through a app exchange app from Salesforce lab itself actually. The app name is data quality score and dashboards actually. Yeah. Okay. So finally, I just wanted to show, as I don't know how many of you know, Salesforce is going to retire the Salesforce Optimizer in upcoming Winter 26 release. So, but there is a new app called Org Check App Exchange. Okay, it's a free app. It's very cool. You could do a lot of stuff in that. I'll just show a quick demo on that actually. Okay. Perfect. So you see, this is the app I'm talking about, the org check actually. In this org check, you see 7 tabs here actually. Okay. So objects, OWD fields and validation rule. All those object limit things can be accessed in from here. And here you see the user profile permission set, license related things, and roles, public rules, queues, automations, basically workflows, and everything can be viewed in here. And if I click on more option, just load it. It does load because so many things are happening in this application actually. So it does take some time to load actually. So okay. And setting artifacts. These are basically the static resource, custom label usage. Yep. Visual component basically this tells about the visual force pages, the lightning component, the lightning pages and everything, and apex, the apex related stuff actually. Okay, I'll just go to the object default here, and under object documentation you could obviously choose any one of the object here. Okay, to see what exactly it has. So I choose the apex, I mean the account object. Okay, and it shows you, provides you all the details basically. Okay, and the lightning page loads. There is one rows including bad rows in it actually. Okay, so you could see there is no description which is given on the lightning account page, and everything is within limits in the account object. The sharing rules is there, the active validation rule is there, and the approval process, everything is is under limits here actually. Okay, and web links, custom fields which is created, right? And it shows you, there are 8 bar rows because it doesn't have any tooltip which is added to it, and 47 standard fields are here in this actually. Okay, and the relationship fields which is here. So it provides basic documentation about this particular object, and org wide defaults, it will tell you, all those sharing settings for that. And if you go, it will fetch you the custom field relation which is on this account object. Okay, and basically, and what are the validation tools we have actually? Only 2 of them are there. Okay, and if I go, this is basically, you see what is there on the object level thing. If I go to the users and profile level thing, you will get to know, the active, the users. These people are active, but they never logged in. Okay, and what are the permissions which is given for each of this user. Okay, and if you go to the profile level, you will be able to see the profile which is created and what is the license assigned for the profile, and it shows, there are like 50 rows include 9 bad rows actually. You could see the score which is given. Score is basically the negative score actually. Okay, so if the lower the score, it's a negative thing actually. Okay, and it provides you why it is negative also here actually. Okay, no description for the custom component, permission set no member. It gives you all the clarity in here actually. If I go to the permission sets here, the same thing. The score is negative, and it says, no descriptions and all actually. Okay, you could still, if you want to exclude anything from the package also, you could do it from here actually. And profile restriction, password policies. If you see the password policy for these people, user password expires in 90 days, and basic, the password history, all these things can be set up, exported. And more, if you go the object permissions, it will load all the object, the account object permissions which is there. It shows you, the legends. You could see here, C means create, R means Reddit. All these things can be viewed in here actually. Okay, so the CRUD basically. So as the field level security, you could view the field level security also from here actually. Okay. Next, moving to the roles and public groups. Here you see public groups. So these are the public groups available, and it says the score, no direct number for this group. Okay, so it's basically empty. There is no need for the group at all, and it mentions that. And you could see the role, whether it has been assigned to the users or not. All these things can be explored from here. I go to the automation tab. I go to the flows. Okay, so it shows the flow score here actually, right? So some of them, you see this particular one, not referenced anywhere. It is not even used. No description, no activation of this flow. Basically the number, lower the number, it's not good actually, right? So this comes from a package itself, so you could do anything. You could see what is the flow related details in here. Okay, and this part doesn't have any process builder or workflows for it. So coming to the visual components here. So no, like visual force page, it tells you the the API version and stuff, whether it has been compatible or not. You see the API version is 64, which is good, and this page is not referenced anywhere, right? That is why the score is less, and all these page related details can be seen here. And visual force component tab is the lightning page is there. Let me go to the lightning page. The lightning page also, you see, it's not referenced anywhere. The score is 1 because the component doesn't have any description, or it doesn't have any, most of the, related details can be seen in here actually. Okay. And the last thing is basically the Apex actually. So you will go to the Apex class. You see, test translate. This is a test class. Now it's not even referred anywhere. And if we go further, custom AMD batch, no explicit sharing in with the print flags, right? And the capture media controller, no coverage for this class, no code coverage at all is available for this class, right? There are such errors will be shown in here, and it even if it implements any interface, it is shown in here, the size and everything is being shown in here actually, right? And you see Apex class that need recompilation actually, right? It tells you the classes which has which needs a recompilation, and you could even run all the tests from here also if you see the button here actually, right? And Apex unit test, there is no unit test to show. Yeah, it is there actually. You see, the score is less. The source code of the item contains one hard coded error, which is not right. Right. So you see all those basic information can be viewed from here itself. Okay. So this app is going to be a game changer. In fact, whatever we have done in Salesforce Optimizer, in our manual assessments, all these things can be done with this particular app itself actually. Okay, so I hope this thing was helpful. And right, so I hope this entire session about Salesforce Org Health Check was helpful for devs or any people who have joined. So what I wanted to convey here is from Cloud Belive, we want to gain a trust of our customers actually, right? So that is why we do a org health checkup. All these things which we have mentioned, we will put together a comprehensive document, and the ones which needs immediate change or an immediate action which is required, and we will list out all those things which is affecting the performance very badly. We ensure that we provide a list of things which needs to be done with based on different priority, and we give with the recommendations along with the time required to do it. So basically this is purely for a customer who's using Salesforce already, and this is the way how we wanted to gain trust from our customer, and that is the reason why we kept it free. And yeah, anyone who's looking for any Salesforce consulting or partners, here we are. You can reach out to me via LinkedIn or any other medium, actually. Okay, so you can reach out to my, any of this email address, everything. Thanks, everyone.